Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Day's Podcast along with a new video. I want to thank you guys so much for listening, watching, viewing, and just subscribing and liking. I truly appreciate it. I tried my best to do it for you guys. Liking, subscribing, viewing, and listening. There's a way that I make it, but you guys get what I mean. I will be making, of course, more videos on Patreon and Spotify, and we will be talking more about different topics and learning from them as well. So today I will be continuing on by talking about the next era that was for, is for Donell Jones. So, like I said, there will be more free videos that we will talk about, and let's get into it. So today, Journey of a Gemini is what we will be talking about. Journey of a Gemini is the fourth studio album by American singer Donell Jones. It was released by LaFace Records and Jive Records on June 20th, 2006 in the United States. Pushed back numerous times due to record label complications of the Sony BMG merger, the album was released to critical acclaim and became Jones' highest charting album on the Billboard Top R&B Hip Hop Albums chart, where it topped at number 1 while entering the top 20 on the Billboard 200 chart. The album was originally scheduled to be released December 20th, 2005, under the title Where I Want to Be, The Last Chapter, the sequel to his studio album Where I Want to Be, but was finally released in the summer of the following year. I see how us Geminis work. We want to still be able to make sure that anything we do remains relevant. Let me stop. I wonder why he called it Journey of a Gemini too. All right, so critical reception rated the album 3.5 out of 5 stars. He found that Journey of a Gemini doesn't quite maintain the steady level of consistency that his first 3 albums carried. It's nonetheless a satisfying addition to his catalog. Since the album's not as ballad heavy, Jones is less prone to over singing, and several excellent mid-tempo tracks, Better Start Talking, I'm Gonna Be, Spend the Night, Feeling You, Lust or Love, should function equally well in clubs and living rooms. Yeah. And I find it, and like I've said in previous videos, critics will talk a lot on what could be, truthful, but then they still have their opinion. So that's why I, even with me, like, I'll have an opinion, but I'm not gonna have it outweigh the content, the message. No, I'm not having my opinion just, this is what it is, guys. Like, I'm not doing that. But like I said, I'm always gonna be unbiased when it comes to just everything. Doesn't matter what it is. But what I will relate to him on is there are mid-tempo and ballad tracks, or just, tracks that aren't as high tempo on the album that people were familiar with, as opposed to other songs that may have made people feel like, wait, is this really Donell? And it's like, yeah, this is him. And the only difference, I think, what it was is at that time was, like they already said, labels, promotions. A lot of times, and I've said this over and over again, whether you go independent or you have a label backing you, a lot of times the promotions and, distribution's got to really hit. There'll be albums that people be like, no, it was diamond in my house, or it was number 1. And we would feel that way. Us as individuals and consumers, we would feel that way. Like, there's a lot of music out there that you say to yourself, oh my God, like, why didn't it chart higher, or why didn't it sell more? It'd be times the label, it'd be times the artist, it'd be times both of them. It'd be times the distribution as a whole. It'd be a number of things. And then there'd be times if you are supposed to have an album out, you could still be touring or supposed to be finishing up a tour. And then being able to be like, all right, new era, like it'd be a lot going on. Well, let's look at the chart performance. Journey of a Gemini debuted and peaked at number 15 on the US Billboard 200 in the week of June 28th, 2006, with first week sales of 49,000 units. It also debuted at number 1 on the top R&B hip hop albums chart, becoming Jones' first album to do so. So, despite the album not charting as high on just the actual Billboard 200, the top R&B hip hop albums chart, like, it went number 1. So there was, a sense that it was successful. Though a lot of times people be wondering, could it have been more? And it's like, yeah, it was delayed about 6 months. But you think about the time that it was delayed. 2005, early 2006, who was coming out? Who was going off? I gotta say, Chris Brown had came out around this time. Well, did. But I'm saying, like, album-wise, I think his album had came out late 2005. At the time he was supposed to come out. You had Neo, that was not too far. You had Trey Songz, that, like, there was a lot of new and up and coming artists that were coming out, and I'm glad he stood his ground. Like, I'm Donell Jones. It ain't about what anybody else is doing. Here's my album. And a lot of times having that confidence and having that focus is what keeps you flourishing, not just in the industry, but just as an artist, entertainer. Because there are people, which we've seen in time, that will discredit and will make you feel like, what else you gotta do? But it's where it comes from and how it's being done. Because a lot of times people will say that and ain't nothing really going on. It's their own self-mutilation. And that'd be the sad part too. There'd be times artists or just people in general that will put their burdens on others, and it don't even be the person or whoever they talking to. It don't even be their problem. We've seen artists all the time say, oh, this artist did this, or, artists will come out and be like, there'd be the balance here where if there's artists releasing something, artists may wait. Or there's artists that will just literally battle other artists and just be like, I'm coming out before them. It all depends. But in most cases in the industry, everybody damn near knows everybody. So there ain't too much to hide. If anything, there's a lot to kind of team up from just the way that they go about music and the way that features and all types of promotion that could go on. But let's get into the track list. Special Girls, track 1. Better Start Talking, featuring Jermaine Dupri's track 2. Track 3, I'm Gonna Be. So, I will say the first 3 tracks, you don't really have to skip. Like, it's really a story. Like, he's bringing you into the story. I did not know Ryan Leslie and Sean Garrett worked on these songs. Well, worked on Better Start Talking. That I can hear it. Yeah, I hear them fused up. Track 4, My Apology. Track 5, Spend the Night. I like Spend the Night. Track 6, Portrait of a Woman. Track 7, Cry. Track 8, Ooh Na Na. Track 9, Feeling You. Track 10, Can't Wait. Track 11, Lust or Love. Track 12, If You Want, featuring Bun B. Track 13, Cutting Me Off. Track 14, Another Life. Track 15, I'm Gonna Be remix featuring Clips. And then there was international bonus tracks, which track 16, Hands on You. And then there was Baby It's You featuring Rico Love. And then track 17, which is Apple Pie. So there was an international track called Hands on You. And then the US bonus tracks are Baby It's You featuring Rico Love and then Apple Pie. So like I was saying, there was so much more that could have been going on for not just this album, but multiple projects that are not just, for Donell Jones. I mean, damn near everybody. Yeah, and many, here's a Easter egg. In many interviews, Donell stated that he recorded 50 songs for the album. Some of the songs started to be leaking during the summer-fall period of 2004 due to mixtape DJs receiving those songs and putting them in their mixtapes. So that was another thing that was going on in the 2000s. People felt they could, not even just him, just anyone damn near, felt like, even faves, as you may feel as far as with Beyonce, Rihanna, there's a lot of times that people will trust others to be like, all right, well, here's a couple songs that I am working on, but I'm not going to put it out. And it just so happens that they get leaked. Whether it's on YouTube, on random sites, they get leaked. And then there isn't as much worth to those songs because everyone's heard it. No one bought it. No one's streaming it. Well, we're not going to say stream in 2004, but no one's buying the song. It's not being pushed to radio. Even if the song is existing, people are possibly burning CDs and stuff. So it's just like, I get why a lot of not just R&B artists, but just artists in general, when it came to, and I've said this before, like the 2000s to 2010s transition, like a lot of artists were suffering bad. And it was because of this. It was because that, not to say that songs were given out in the sense of where they felt like, oh, well, if something happens to it, I don't care. It was like, no, I want you to hear it. Tell me what you like. And you may have probably sent it to about 5-6 people. And out of those 6 people, maybe 2 has said, this is too good to keep. And it's like, no. So let me keep reading. It was speculated that the album was pushed back numerous times due to the leaking of the songs onto the internet. But Donell stated it was mainly because of the many complications of the Sony BMG merger that happened during the spring of 2004. So like I said, it can be the sense of songs leaking, but it do be the labels too. Donell was a bit heated at first when he heard about the leaking on the internet, but then said it was a sign that his fans signed to his fans that he was working on a new album. But yeah, the tracks that were supposed to be on the album, You Make Me Say featuring Fat Joe, You Didn't Love Me, Do It All, Marry Me, Free, Assville, okay, September Love, Bad Girl, Sergeant Louise, You Make Me Say, Hey, a remix featuring Ja Rule. So there was a couple more songs that could have been on the album or never got to make it to the album that got leaked. But ultimately, it is a good album. I think that, like I said, at the time that it was released and a lot that was being complicated on made it suffer a bit. But, we can stream now. So there ain't no excuse that ain't nobody can look and listen to what's going on in the world and what people do and how they do it, okay? But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much again for watching, listening, and subscribing, and I will be back with more.